Hey there, my name is Zack Higbee, and I'm a partner in the patents group at Alston & Bird. In my day-to-day practice, I work with companies across the healthcare ecosystem as they think about how to create value from their data while managing risk and protecting their innovation. Across the healthcare space, many companies are finding new ways to make their data work for them. Even when data is not your primary product, organizations are generating enormous amounts of valuable data as a byproduct of your core business. And increasingly, they're looking at how to safeguard and capture the economic value of these innovations that you're building around that data. One really clear example is the recent boom in generative AI. And what really differentiates AI models is often not the algorithm itself, but it's the underlying data sets and the processes the company used to gather, clean, organize, and deploy that data for lots of different technical applications. In healthcare, that dynamic shows up everywhere from AI-powered medical imaging analysis to insurance applications, premium analyses, risk calculation tools, all the way down to the actual nuts and bolts of running the AI and running the analyses themselves. One challenge with data is that you generally can't protect the raw data itself with IP registrations like copyrights or patents. Because of that, data security and secrecy sits at the heart of any data monetization strategy. That's not only HIPAA and privacy security, but it's also once your data escapes your control, you might lose the ability to capture its economic value because it's now out in the world. This requires healthcare industry leaders to keep close control of their data from both an IT security and a contract management perspective. Even though the data itself is usually best protected with privacy, there's a boom in the healthcare space with companies increasingly obtaining patents and other types of IP protection around how they work with that data, particularly data-driven processes, systems, and applications like generative AI that I mentioned before. In practice, many of the most valuable innovations are already happening inside your organization. Your engineers, your data scientists, the technical teams are manipulating data every day in ways that could be patentable. They're selecting, cleaning, and structuring the data to improve AI training or the AI model outputs. You're improving databases and pipelines based on how that data is processed. And you may even be using the analytical outputs from that data in very practical applications like medical treatment decisions, medical imaging analyses, decision-making engines, and system and pipeline optimization, and various automated risk analyses and mitigation processes that your team use every day. Patents are one way to protect that data, like I said before. As a shorthand, there are two core questions that we ask when we're evaluating something as potentially patentable. First is that invention new and not obvious? Meaning, has no one ever done it before, and is it not an obvious variant of technology that's already out there? The second is the invention a technical solution to a technical problem? That second question is especially important with data and in the healthcare space. Simply receiving data, analyzing it, and displaying the results is usually not enough for patenting. Courts and the patent office tend to view pure data analysis as an abstract concept that can't be patented. Something that, for example, could be performed in the human mind, even if the math is complex, may not be eligible for patenting. But what matters is the how, not just the what. How do you use that data? How does that use of the data improve the technology or some other field of practice? That distinction shows up very clearly in the healthcare space. For example, methods of diagnosis are often harder to patent because courts view the diagnosis as something that a doctor does in their head, something that's inherently a data analysis in the abstract, whereas methods of treatment are more likely to be patentable because they produce tangible, real-world results. More broadly speaking, technical solutions generally involve something beyond the data itself. For example, making an AI system more accurate, improving data processing efficiency, enhancing the effectiveness of a medical treatment. All of these are technical solutions that improve the system as a whole. So the next question is not just what can be patented, but what should be patented. Very high-level ideas like use this data for a particular analytical outcome is usually too generic to be patent eligible because it just describes the desired result, the what of the invention, whereas patentable inventions tend to be more in the how you accomplish those results. Extremely granular items, on the other hand, that only work inside your proprietary ecosystem, inside your enterprise, that aren't valuable to the world at large, may not be worth patenting because they wouldn't be useful for others to take, and they wouldn't be useful for the industry as a whole. As a useful rule of thumb, if an employee, your lead tech designers, your data scientists, could leave the company, remember the invention that you're thinking of patenting, and then use that knowledge to create economic value for a competitor, that's often a strong candidate for patent protection. Trade secrets protect what stays confidential, whereas patents can help protect what these former employees may remember and take with them to competitors, or what competitors could reverse engineer from your products in the wild. So there's a lot about data, especially in healthcare, that can be patented across the whole pipeline. A&B's role in that process is to help companies identify and protect those innovations. We work with organizations across the spectrum, from early stage biotech startups to AI companies to insurers and healthcare providers. If data is central to your business, this is an area worth exploring, so don't hesitate to reach out with any questions.